Welcome back to Carrick United Analysis. Hello, and welcome to Carrick United Analysis, the channel every real Manchester United fan trusts for honest, deep, and simple breakdowns of everything happening at Old Trafford and Carrington. If you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications, because we bring you fresh United content before anyone else does. If you are already part of this family, thank you for always coming back. You are the reason this channel keeps growing. And today we have a training ground story that has every single United fan buzzing with excitement. A hook you cannot ignore. Picture this. It is Monday afternoon at Carrington. The season opener is just days away. The pressure is building. And in the middle of a high-intensity tactical session, one player is putting on a show so complete, so dominant, that staff members inside the building cannot stop talking about it. He clocks the fastest sprint speed on the entire pitch. He glides past defenders in tight spaces like they are not even there. And in the internal match, he scores twice and sets up another. Who is this player? You already know the answer. It is Marcus Rashford, and he just told the entire coaching staff, without saying a single word, that he is ready. If you are a Manchester United fan, this is exactly the kind of news that gets the heart racing before a new season begins. In this post, we are going to break down everything that happened at Carrington today. We are going to talk about Rashford's incredible session. And we are going to walk through Michael Carrick's entire tactical blueprint for the opening match of the season against Hull City. So settle in, get comfortable, and let us go through this together, step by step, in simple and clear language, the way we always do here on Carrick United Analysis. Setting the scene, the final countdown to the season opener, Manchester United kick off their new Premier League campaign away at Hull City at the MKM Stadium, and that fixture is now just around the corner. Today's session at Carrington was described as intensive and tactical, exactly the kind of work a manager puts his squad through when he is finalizing his starting lineup and locking in the details before a ball is kicked in anger. Hull City returned to the Premier League as newly promoted opponents, and while every United fan will expect a positive result, opening day fixtures against sides fighting to prove they belong at this level are rarely as simple as the league table position might suggest. That is exactly why sessions like today's matter so much. They are the difference between hoping for a good result and actually preparing properly for one. Michael Carrick used today specifically to work on high-tempo transition drills and quick vertical passing sequences. Let us break that down in simple terms, because it tells us a lot about how United plan to approach this opening fixture. High-tempo transition drills are about moving the ball quickly from defense into attack the moment possession is won, catching the opposition off guard before they can organize themselves. Quick vertical passing sequences are about moving the ball forward in straight, direct lines rather than sideways and backwards, getting from one end of the pitch to the other as fast as possible. Put those two things together and you get a clear picture. Carrick wants his team fast, direct, and ruthless in the transition moments of the game, exactly the approach that can cause real problems for a newly promoted side like Hull City. Here is a question worth thinking about before we go further. Do you think a fast, direct, vertical style of play is the best way to break down a newly promoted team? Or would a slower, more patient approach be safer for the opening day of the season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Rashford's absolute training dominance. Now let us get into the story that has everyone talking today, Marcus Rashford's performance in this session. According to reports from inside Carrington, Rashford spearheaded the entire session with what has been described as an elite display of both physical and technical superiority. This was not simply a solid session. This was a statement, and it strongly suggests he is completely ready to anchor the left wing in his new number 14 shirt when the season begins. Let us break this down piece by piece because every part of it matters. Terrifying pace. High-resolution tracking data from today's session confirmed that Rashford clocked the fastest sprint speed of anyone on the pitch. Think about what that actually means. This is not a small training group. This is a full Manchester United squad packed with Premier League athletes, and yet, in pure raw speed, nobody could match him. Reports say he was routinely leaving defenders behind during the counter-attacking simulations that made up a big part of today's work. Speed like this matters enormously for the specific role Carrick appears to be building around him. If United are going to play fast, vertical, transition-based football, having a player who can outrun literally everyone else on the pitch becomes an enormous weapon. The moment the ball is won back, Rashford already has the physical tools to turn that moment into a genuine goal-scoring opportunity before the opposition defense has time to reset. Against a newly promoted side that may not be used to facing this level of raw pace on a weekly basis, that advantage could prove decisive in moments where games are often won or lost. Crisp dribbling speed on its own only tells half the story, though. Reports also describe Rashford's dribbling in tight spaces on the left flank as incredibly sharp and direct. He was reportedly navigating past markers with real ease, slicing inside from the flank into the penalty area whenever the opportunity presented itself. This detail matters because it shows Rashford is not just running in straight lines, he is combining that pace with genuine close control and decision-making under pressure. Being able to beat a defender in a tight space, then immediately cut inside toward goal, is exactly the kind of skill that turns a fast winger into a genuinely dangerous attacking weapon. A defender who knows a winger is quick can sometimes still cope by staying compact and patient. A defender facing a winger who is both quick and sharp in tight areas has a much harder job entirely. Complete dominance. And then there is the internal match itself, the 11 versus 11 tactical scrimmage that formed part of today's session. Staff members reportedly described Rashford as completely dominating this game, scoring twice and providing an assist along the way. In a competitive, structured match environment, even an internal one, producing that kind of output tells you everything about where his confidence and sharpness currently stand. It is worth remembering that internal matches like this often feature players fighting hard for their own place in the squad, meaning the opposition Rashford faced would have been genuinely motivated to stop him. Cutting through that kind of resistance with 2 goals and an assist is not a soft, meaningless statistic. It is a real signal of where his form currently stands. Here is a question worth asking yourself right now. Based on everything described from today's session, do you think Carrick has any real choice left but to start Rashford in the opening match against Hull City? Drop your prediction in the comments below. Carrick's tactical blueprint for Hull City. Let us now widen the lens and talk about the bigger tactical picture Carrick appears to be building ahead of this opening fixture. Reports suggest today's session was structured specifically around exposing the low-block defensive system Hull City are expected to set up at the MKM Stadium. A low block, for anyone who needs a quick reminder, is when a team sits deep, packs bodies behind the ball, and tries to limit the space in behind their defense, making it difficult for the opposition to find gaps to attack through. Breaking down a defensive setup like this requires patience, movement, and precise passing, and it seems Carrick worked on very specific solutions to that exact problem today. Let us go through each part of this blueprint. The midfield floor Yuri Tielemans reportedly anchored the deep pivot role today, working alongside Kobbie Mainoo. Together, the pair practiced rapid, press-resistant switches of play, designed to stretch a compact defensive shape from side to side. Think of this as the foundation of the entire attacking structure. 2 composed midfielders sitting deep, comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, and capable of quickly shifting play from one flank to the other to drag a low block out of its shape. This matters enormously against a team expected to defend deep and narrow. If a defense stays compact and disciplined in the middle, the way to break them down is often to force them to shift repeatedly from side to side until gaps start to appear. Having 2 technically composed midfielders who can execute these switches quickly and accurately gives United a genuine tool to unlock a stubborn low block. It also gives the team a safety net further back, since a well-organized double pivot allows the more attacking players ahead of them the freedom to take risks knowing there is defensive cover behind them if possession is lost. The creative hub captain Bruno Fernandes was reportedly directing the advanced pressing triggers today, working specifically on one-touch pocket passes designed to unlock central channels. In simple terms, this means Bruno was working on receiving the ball in tight pockets of space between the opposition's midfield and defensive lines, and immediately releasing quick, incisive passes to break defensive lines with minimal touches. This is exactly the kind of role that suits Bruno's strengths perfectly. His vision and ability to play the first-time pass into dangerous areas has always been one of his signature qualities, and against a team expected to defend deep, having a creative hub capable of finding those tiny half-yard gaps becomes absolutely crucial. Advanced pressing triggers also tell us something about the defensive side of this plan, since it suggests Bruno is being trusted to lead the press from the front, signaling to teammates exactly when to squeeze forward and win the ball back high up the pitch. Fluid frontline rotation. Matheus Cunha reportedly worked today on dropping deep as a false 9, a role where a central forward drops away from the last line of defense to receive the ball in midfield areas. The purpose of this movement is to drag opposition center backs out of their comfortable defensive positions, and reports suggest this specific work was designed to create immediate running lanes for Rashford to attack from the inside. Think about how well this connects to everything we discussed about Rashford's session. If Cunha drops deep and pulls a defender with him, that creates space directly behind that defender, exactly the kind of space Rashford's blistering pace and sharp inside dribbling can exploit in a heartbeat. This is not 2 isolated training details. This is a connected tactical plan, each piece designed to set up the next. Width and crossing. On the opposite flank, Right winger Brian Mbeumo reportedly focused heavily on late-back post overlapping runs today, working on delivering low-driven crosses into the danger zone. This gives United a genuine second wave of attacking threat, width, and service coming from the right side of the pitch to complement the central and left-sided combinations being built around Cunha and Rashford. Low-driven crosses into the danger zone are particularly effective against low-block defenses, since they arrive quickly and at a difficult height for defenders to deal with cleanly, often creating scrappy, dangerous moments in the penalty area that a well-organized defensive line finds hard to fully control. Here is a question worth sitting with. Looking at all four pieces of this tactical blueprint together, the deep midfield platform, Bruno's creative pockets, Cunha's false nine movement, and Mbeumo's crossing threat, do you think this system gives United enough different ways to break down a stubborn Hull City defense? Let me know your honest assessment in the comments. Putting it all together, why this session matters so much? Let us step back now and think about why a single Monday training session has generated this much excitement and discussion. Preseason and preparation sessions like this one rarely get discussed in this much tactical detail, but this particular session feels different because it seems to genuinely answer some of the biggest questions hanging over this Manchester United squad heading into the new season. First, it tells us Rashford is ready, or at the very least, extremely close to ready. After such a long absence from competitive first-team football, there have naturally been questions about whether his sharpness would translate fully from positive preseason reports into genuine match-winning contribution. A session like this, topping the sprint charts, dominating dribbling situations, and producing 2 goals and an assist in a competitive internal match, goes a long way toward answering those questions with real confidence. Fans have waited a long time for this kind of concrete evidence, rather than simply positive but vague reports filtering out from behind closed doors at Carrington. Second, it tells us exactly how Carrick wants this team to play against opponents who sit deep and defend narrow. Newly promoted sides like Hull City often set up cautiously against bigger clubs, packing bodies behind the ball and looking to frustrate their more talented opponents. Having a clear, well-rehearsed tactical plan specifically designed to break down that kind of defensive setup gives United a genuine structural advantage heading into the opening weekend. Third, and perhaps most importantly, it tells us these individual pieces are not operating in isolation. Tielemans and Mainoo build the platform. Bruno finds the pockets. Cunha drags defenders out of position. Rashford exploits the space that creates. Mbeumo offers an entirely different route to goal from the opposite flank. This is a genuinely joined-up system, each role connected to the next, and that level of coordinated planning this close to the season opener should give every single United fan real confidence. Here is a question worth thinking about. How much do you think a clear, well-drilled tactical plan like this one actually matters against a newly promoted side, compared to simply relying on individual quality to eventually break the game open? I want to hear your honest opinion in the comments section below. The emotional side of this Rashford story, we cannot talk about today's session without pausing again on what this specifically means for Marcus Rashford personally. After everything he has been through, the difficult period under previous management, the loan spells away from the club, and the long, patient road back into first-team contention, a session like this represents genuine, tangible proof that his hard work is paying off at exactly the right moment. Every United fan who has followed his journey closely knows how much has led to this point. The doubts, the criticism, the rebuilding process, first at Aston Villa, and then at Barcelona, where he truly found his best form again. And now, right before the biggest match of the summer, the opening day of a new Premier League season, he is reportedly the standout performer at Carrington, topping every physical and technical measure the coaching staff track. Stories like this matter to fans because they represent something bigger than simple statistics from a training session. They represent redemption, hard work, and the possibility of a genuine homecoming being completed in exactly the way supporters have hoped for since his return to Carrington this summer. There is a certain poetry in the timing too. A player who spent so long away from competitive first-team football, producing his standout moment right before the opening day of a brand new season, as if all the pieces are falling into place at exactly the right time. Here is a question worth sitting with. Do you think a strong training session like this one should influence Michael Carrick's decision about whether to start Rashford from the very first minute against Hull City? Or should he still be eased in gradually through substitute appearances at the start of the season? Let me know your prediction in the comments below. What to watch for on opening day? As we count down toward kickoff at the MKM Stadium, here are a few specific things worth keeping an eye on based on everything we have discussed today. Watch whether Michael Carrick trusts Rashford with a starting place from the very first whistle, given the level of sharpness reportedly shown in this session. His inclusion or absence from the starting 11 will tell us a great deal about how highly the coaching staff currently rate his readiness for a full 90 minutes of Premier League football. Watch how quickly United look to switch play from side to side in the opening exchanges of the match, since that appears to be a central part of the plan built around Tielemans and Mainu today. If Hull City set up in a genuine low block as expected, these switches of play could be the key that unlocks the game. Watch for Kuna dropping deep into pockets of space, and watch closely for the runs Rashford makes the moment that happens. If this specific combination shows up early in the match, it will be clear evidence that today's training work has translated directly onto the pitch. This kind of link-up play, one player creating space and another exploiting it, is often what separates a team that dominates possession without scoring from a team that actually converts control into goals. And finally, watch Mbeumo's overlapping runs and crossing on the opposite side of the pitch. A varied attacking threat, coming from both flanks and through the middle, gives United multiple different ways to find a breakthrough if any single route becomes blocked during the game. A team with only one plan can be shut down by a well-organized defense, but a team with several connected routes to goal is far harder to contain for a full 90 minutes. Wrapping things up, let us bring everything together before we close out this post. Manchester United held an intensive tactical session at Carrington today, as they put the final touches on their preparations for the opening match of the new Premier League season against Hull City. Michael Carrick used the session to work on high-tempo transitions and quick vertical passing, exactly the tools needed to break down a newly promoted side expected to defend deep. At the center of it all, Marcus Rashford delivered a genuinely dominant training performance, topping the sprint charts, showing sharp and direct dribbling in tight areas, and scoring twice with an assist in the internal match. Thank you so much for listening this post all the way through. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more honest, simple, and detailed Manchester United analysis just like this, please make sure you are subscribed to Carrick United Analysis, because this is the trusted source for United fans who want the real story without the noise. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, and share this post with a fellow United fan who needs to read this today. Until next time, keep believing, keep supporting the boys in red, and I will see you in the next one right here on Carrick United Analysis.